Success can be so many different things for different people, right? In my world, for the longest time, success was living in New York and doing what I love, which was being one with New York City. Instead of being the guy that I am now, colorful and a bit eccentric and crazy, high-kicking Fredrik, you know, that kind of bubbly personality we all have when we're with our best friends or family, I locked myself up and I try to copy other big successful real estate agents instead of being me. The more I'm me, the more I pull the guard down, the more successful I become. What you do to feel successful, to actually authentically feel successful, I think you have to present yourself in an honest way to the world. And I know a lot of people that are successful on the outside, but maybe I question how it feels because they might not be true to themselves. You shouldn't wear a suit because you're supposed to. I mean, enter the conference room, the really conservative environment with, in my case, big developers, and come in a t-shirt and really say that. Wearing a t-shirt, you know, brand that. Whatever you're wearing professionally, own it and sell it. I have a trademark, which is my high kick, and I've been doing it since I was 4 years old, and I think that's the key when you talk about trademark, because I think everybody should have a trademark, but it needs to be authentic to you. It can't just be a gimmick that you make up. I mean, I heard that Karate Kid think that I stole it from them, but in fact, they stole it from me, because at 4 years old, I was doing that before the Karate Kid movie came around, so I'm still waiting for my royalties from them. You know, I left Sweden 13 years ago, and I left everybody that I love, my friends and family behind, to become successful in New York. Yes, real estate and being successful in real estate at work is important to me, but it's also equally important to create a family. So I'm going to be a father soon, and that is a different kind of success. The series is amazing. It's been 6 years of full-time filming, and we film 9 months a year. So we're always in production. And I've always loved the format because, you know, it's a real estate show. People tune in because of the expensive real estate, but I think what makes it very interesting is the people behind it. So you have these very shrewd sellers, somewhat cheap buyers sometimes, and then you have us trying to make it all work in the middle. I was a real estate broker in New York City, and I realized to become like a top broker, I had to get myself on television, I thought at the time. Because you can send mailers all day long, go knock on people's doors, you can try to do all these sorts of things, but how do you reach like millions of eyeballs? And you can say whatever you want about reality television or Fredrik on television, but I thought if I could get myself on television, people would see that I love real estate, and I do anything for my clients, and I move mountains for my clients. I mean, you might not like all my antics and my personality, and that's fine, but you'll see that I love real estate. So anyway, I got a little pilot done called The $1 Billion Broker with a friend of mine who owned a production company. And then we got a meeting with Bravo and Andy Cohen. The pilot, and I think that's the funny part of the story, the pilot was really bad. The idea was probably really bad too. But what they all laughed, all the executives, but they said, this guy, Fredrik, you know, when we are ready to do something in New York, we're gonna call you. And this was like 2005 or something. So anyway, for me, it was a big disappointment. I didn't get my own show. I didn't get a real estate show on Bravo. But then one day, like 4 years later, they called and said, we're gonna do a show called $1 Million in New York, a spin-off from the LA version, and we'd love to have you on it. So I was never really casted in a way. They had me in mind in the beginning. Well, I wasn't really in public as a kid. I mean, my dad
performed. Were you in plays? Were you out speaking?
Yeah.
I mean, some kids do that stuff.
Yeah, a little bit of that, yeah. I think when I was a kid, sure, I used to dress up. I used to be on stage in school. I liked theater, yes, all of those things. But then I think when I moved first to New York, I was in real estate. I wasn't at all the guy you see on television with the guy right now. I was very, you know, I locked myself down, up, and I was very nervous to be the eccentric sort of big personality I am today. Because I thought if I was saying, you know, I was from Sweden, I didn't have any experience, you know, all of the things, my high kick, all the things that I am today. Since I was a little kid, I've been doing that crazy kick, and I think that...
Explain it.
Oh, what would It came about, I was probably like 4 or 5 years old when I started doing it. To me, it's very authentic to who I am, and people laugh at it. People think it's stupid. People think it's funny. I do it when I'm sad. I do it when I'm happy. I do it when I do a deal. I do it in front of celebrity clients. I do it all, I mean, you know, I do it all the time.
It's you.
Yes, but that's my point. When I first moved to New York, I didn't do that high kick because I thought I would get fired. So when you ask me, have you always been so comfortable or confident? And the answer is definitely no, because real estate is very traditional and serious and conservative, and you're not supposed to do those things and sell $1 billion a year. So yes, if you're truly driven by money, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I'm gonna make money today. I say all power to you. I don't think that's a bad thing. No, that's not me. I mean, I would probably finish the school I went to because I dropped out of school in Sweden. I moved to New York. It wasn't to make money. I've always followed my own dreams. I have not, I would become a hedge fund manager in London or something if I was driven by money. I think real estate, I deal with money. I deal with people's money. It's the biggest transaction of people's lives, and sometimes it's a lot of money. But I think to answer your question, what drives me is the deal and the negotiation, and I get a high when I make the impossible work, and the people behind the deals. That's really what makes it interesting. The money, is secondary.
What are you doing giving out real estate? 3 keys to successful selling.
Number 1, to be authentic, because I think that, and going back to in the beginning of New York, in New York real estate, when I came, I wasn't me. And I think if you're trying to sell anything, people need to see who you really are. That's trust, right? And therefore, it can be kind of good to be a little bit like, elevated, but you're still you. And this show has been amazing like that, because it kind of forced me as well to, you can't wear any mask because you're filming 9 months. I've been humiliated, I've been crying, I lost so much on that show, I won a lot, but in the end of the day, I think you watch the show and you see, hopefully, that I'm a real guy. You know what I mean? A big heart, a real guy.
Absolutely.
And that's really helpful to sell anything. Then I always say that the boring answer to become successful in real estate is to work harder.
Don't give me a boring answer, give me a real answer.
No, but this is the truth, because the problem with the show too, people maybe think it look easy, and you have this amazing career in New York, but
What don't they see?
What they don't see maybe is, and I'm including that in this season, I feel a lot of guilt because I left my family in Sweden. I feel like I've given up on a lot of things that other people might have that I don't have. I'm trying to have a family. I work all the time. I get to the office sometimes before anyone else and leave before other people. And, lately I've been affording to do some lavish vacations, but for many years, about a decade, all I did was to work. So I'm saying the unglamorous true answer is you have to work really, really super hard. Because I think it's who I am, and I think I already answered in a different way. I mean, I sell real estate, I sell a lot of it, but I'm not gonna, at this point, I'm not gonna play any roles. It's me. And what we went through, this was last summer when we started filming, was very, very difficult. And I was going in to start filming season 5 of this show. And I knew as soon as I sat down in the chair and was interviewed, I was gonna break down. I just knew. So I had 2 choices. One was not to do, season, or not be on television, because how am I not going to include that such an important part of my life? It was consuming me, and it broke me in 1,000 pieces, and I'm still, trying to get through it. And I have to be honest, and I think that's, with everything I do in my life, I want to be honest about it. So yeah,
You want a family, right? I'm sorry for interrupting you. You want a family.
Yes, I want nothing else. Nothing more, I should say.
I wrote my book. It's called Lessons in Leadership, which you're going to be buying.
I'm buying it now.
I know you will. So you ready? I ask great leaders who come in here, the number 1 lesson they learn about leadership is...
Be a good friend.
Wow.
No, can I elaborate? Okay, so I have my own company in Sweden, and I have 55 something employees, and I always say to them, I'm a weird leader that way. I'm like a mascot. I'm their friend. We travel together, take them to dinners. I've never believed in a leadership that, if anything, just give love, it's like a boomerang, it comes back. I truly believe that. But then, of course, everybody's on commission too, so maybe, I'm a different leader that way too.
Well, you're terrific at what you do.
I don't know about Albany market, but I think real estate, I love it. I devoted my life to it. It's everything, but it takes at least 5 years. People think it's so quick because they watch our show. And start on a team is my biggest advice. Just like sit in the room, get all the information, really, don't try to do it yourself. I lost so many years sitting there by myself trying to get clients and not.
Really? So work on a team.
Yes.
That's good. And know that have a 5-year.
Yeah.
You have to give it 5 years because the 5-year is about learning the market, building the client list, and just knowing what you're doing.
I mean, it takes a long time to build up a client base, and I
Yeah.
think that, because it's quick money, you think that you can do it on the side, and I guess some people can, but I think it's one of those industries where you have to jump into and really devote yourself, dedicate everything to it.
Where does he get it?
I don't know. I mean, it seems like a very, he seems like he can have that lifestyle of freedom. I don't know where his money's coming from. He did a bunch of big deals before when he was still in real estate.
We have you booked because you say that after the Brexit votes, British buying of U.S. real estate increased and sharply, which I'm very confused about because if I live in the UK and that is my currency, it got much, much weaker and New York real estate got much more expensive. Why would they want to buy?
The Brits have always been, I would say, top 10 buyers in New York, but after the Brexit, I would say top 3. I think that the Brexit and the turmoil in Europe in general has proven once again, I've been saying this for so long, that New York real estate is actually the safest place to invest your money. That's a fact. So we see a lot of Brits, we see from France, we see from China this summer.
How is the overall summer going?
Well, summer is usually slower, right? People over 4 million, they go away, Hamptons or Europe. This summer was slower, normally slow, June to end of July, and then something happened. End of July, right at the beginning of August, a real pump, a record pump, I would say, in the market. 43 contracts over 4 million were signed the last few days of July and beginning of August.
In New York City?
In New York City, $350 million over 4 million right that week.
What happened?
Huh?
Where? Why?
Why?
Ooh.
How?
Well,
What?
And we're startled.
I mean, why? I would say interest rates, we're about to find out, but they are record low, right? I mean, money is
But
basically...
those kinds of people, they're not borrowing. I mean, they don't have mortgages.
No, but there's
do they?
interest rates are low, and then of course you have, I think, once again the European turmoil, and then there's a few buildings downtown that just opened with lots of great contract in them.
I wonder if, with interest rates that low,
They are buying.
where do you put your money?
Yeah,
Because you're not going to buy a negative yielding bond, so you buy
a nice car.
property.
I mean,
No, but they do borrow.
we love the
rich,
cash.
Rich people do
Yes,
borrow,
of course.
though,
We love
because they
cash
can make
deals,
more money
but-
on their investments because mortgages are so cheap.
They're so.
Why
I just
not
got a
use
mortgage
somebody else's
myself, and it
cheap
was
money
not
than my
very
own?
expensive.
Say again.
I just got a mortgage myself, and I was surprised. It's very, very
What did you
inexpensive.
get? What kind did you get?
What kind of mortgage?
What rate?
I got a really good rate from JP Morgan. Thank you guys so much.
What kind of mortgage?
Bought a beautiful
What does a
country
pro do?
house, a little mansion, and
mansion.
I'm paying it off in 10 years.
A 10-year mortgage. Okay.
Oh, so it's an arm. It's probably an arm.
But you probably could have paid cash. You don't have to brag. I'm just saying, but you could.
Anyway, cash is fun, but I think, the interest rate being so low, get a mortgage.
So what's happening? You mentioned the high end, it really picked up at the end of
Yeah.
July, et cetera. What's going on in sort of that middle tier? Is there a real difference? Is there?
Spring was rocky, right?
Yeah.
Oil plummeted, and with that, stock exchange came down, and then that stabilized since then. Now, below 4 million has been super active all spring, and the summer has been crazy. I mean, I think the segment that I work a lot in, new development, ground up conversions, there's a number of new amazing buildings for really the first time in New York City between 1 and 5 million. Because, the new
There's no
development...
supply for a long time.
Right, exactly.
Right.
If you wanted a swimming pool, you wanted a doorman, you wanted this kind of beautiful architecture, you had to pay 8 to 10 million.
This
So
is what I
now,
don't. Michelle and Melissa, you guys live in New York.
Yep.
Okay. Tyler and I, we're
Suburbanites.
We're lawn mowing suburbanites. Here's the thing. Who are all these people?
we used to say there were Wall Street guys buying. There's some Wall Street and hedge funds right now, but a lot of tech money from the West Coast. We also have a huge trend of retired, maybe older couples, families moving from uptown to downtown.
Remember, you can't, we haven't even launched yet. Why would you try to negotiate?
Turning everyone away actually made them want it more and more and more. And that's when I started accepting offers. I know where you're calling before we get started. Does your client want it or not?
They do.
Oh, send me the deal sheet. I should have tried not selling years ago.
I want to congratulate you both for listening to my strategy. The building, just like you heard, is the hottest new building in New York City. 2E, full ask, 1855, 3D, 3,325,3, 1925, 48, 4125, 3335, 6C, 7C. Oh my God, this is one of my favorites. Over 3,400 a foot. 4C, 3,050,000, full ask. Of course, everything is full ask. 5C, 3150, 4D, 3425, 3D, 3325. Oh, there was another one. See, the pages are so many. 9B, 6760. Oh, wait, here, this is the best one. Penthouse A, 10,185,000 full ask plus the parking of $500,000. Last one, 5D, 3560. So 61,500,000, 25% sold before we even open.
Greetings, gentlemen. My name is Harold Valliston, real estate broker, sales trainer, motivational speaker. My question to you, Fredrik, is in the early years of your career, how did you build and continually contact your database? And now that the show is so popular and giving you many more opportunities, how are you guys managing that? Thank you. I appreciate your time.
In the beginning, on the very beginning of my career, like once again, I was sat all by myself. I had no one helping me, no one mentoring me.
Did you work at a firm?
Yeah, a very small firm with 6 agents in West Chelsea. I came off the shrimp boat, not knowing anything.
What made you come here? You just knew?
Yeah, I knew because I came here when I was 10, and I honestly tasted it. I was so in love with the energy and the neon and the danger and the not so much the money, but the whole thing. You know, I come from Sweden. It's very calm and beautiful and old. And no, my family's still there. I love it. I come back, but I'm in New York, you know. No, so for 20 years, I was frustrated not living here. So I came, and then finally, bam.
So in the early years, you're in a small place.
I was by myself.
Learning the craft.
Yeah, I think, I never really had a database to answer questions. I never, and I need to be better at that. What I do is I see every single person that I meet, including you, because you're buying your next apartment from me, as a potential commission check walking around with little 4 legs, unsigned. Right, exactly, that's what you are. No, so every person it's an opportunity. So it's like a.
I'm a big one.
At my first open house, all these people that came in, I just turned them over into new clients. And the listing inventory, I'm so scared. I know in my heart this is the last month, my prime. It's over. Last year was the best year. That's how I feel. Do you feel like that?
Always.
Yes, and I wake up every morning like.
You're only as good as your last at bat.
Yeah, so I need to. And always expect. What is so funny?
I fucking love it.
Okay, good. So
I want to grow too. I just got to figure out how I'm going to say grow. I got to find my. No, but you know what? I think that's right. I think, to me, I never think anything I've accomplished yesterday means anything for tomorrow.
Exactly. You're never cooler than your last deal or video. I mean,
100%.
You know when you buy jewelry and can I see that, diamond or watch or whatever it is? Yeah. The ring, and it's behind a piece of glass. And then the sales clerk kind of takes it up and polishes. You want it. So the longer you hold it back, the more. And everybody else wants what everybody else wants. Nobody wants what nobody wants. So it's my job to. What's so funny? It's true.
It is so true.
It's my job to create this sort of need, and that's how I get the highest price. Yeah. The billionaires, well, celebrities want privacy, and that's very difficult in New York City. They want, they come from California usually. They're used to big mansions, lots of greenery, outdoor space, even a beach. And it's hard to create that in New York City because we're, building. So my job is usually to get them penthouses, but so high up that nobody's looking down on them. I mean, some of these celebrities can't, be photographed, And then the private garage is really important. So they drive straight in and then into an elevator that will take them straight up to the apartment. That's also not a lot of buildings that have that. When Leonardo DiCaprio came, he wanted as an example, he wanted not only the private garage, but he had to have a back sort of door from the garage, like a trash, to get out in the back of the building so nobody would paparazzi. Wait, this is the best. Actually, I should talk to you guys. This is the best location of all New York. You have Greenwich Village, so east and west.
We're definitely downtown.
As you know, northwest Rebecca is the most historic. Cobblestone streets. It's fabulous.
Okay, I hear celebrity. I hear celebrity, and that means paparazzi, and I'm not comfortable with that. We need privacy.
There's no paparazzis there because that's why celebrities love it. Because
Does that make sense?
No, because there are no tourists there. No, it's true. It's very like small little streets and very, very private.
Okay.
And it's super, super quiet. You can walk. You know, I heard something about seeing each other with the baby.
Yeah.
You can walk your dogs with no leash there.
You can meet me all the time on the street.
On the streets.
Anyway, I think $18 million. I think you should act before, you know.
We'll do 15. Okay, here's my credit card.
No, we were talking about 20 million before in the makeup room. So I think
15, all cash in. All cash, 15.
So what would you say if let's say it wasn't high up, it was
Okay.
dark. It was a dark apartment, a smaller
the dark is
apartment.
good. You want to sleep. No, I mean seriously. It's like, I don't love it's not right. If you have to turn in sales, I mean, you want to be truthful always, but you can turn every negative to a positive. You really can. It's just depending on how you look at life in general. I mean,
I actually know
life is-
someone that's very famous
the
that likes
glass
dark
is half full.
apartments.
oh yes, there we go.
They say that if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere about New York. But you didn't make it in Oslo, in Norway. That was difficult market for you, wasn't it?
No, it's true. We went bankrupt. You can say that.
Yeah,
it's
well,
okay.
yeah.
No, it's important to admit when you don't do well either. I've had so much success that I mean, we actually did well in the sales, but we didn't get the numbers to work for the company itself, and it just didn't work out. It's okay.
Do or don't let your kids watch $1 Million Listing New York.
Too young. No. Don't.
Eventually, will you let them?
Yes, of course. Dada is like really good at what he does, and they need to know.
I love it. Do or don't let your kids have fast food.
Don't.
Do you indulge in any of like their sweets or things like that?
I give them desserts every night, but desserts is like my dessert as I make them like a really healthy fruit dessert, like a milkshake, but it's like really healthy, and it's in their mind, they're like, wow, it's like ice cream milkshake, but it isn't. It's actually a lot of vitamins, it's like high in protein and whatnot, so they can get that every night, so yeah.
Very nice. Do or don't respond to trolls on social media.
No.
You never do. You don't pay attention to it.
No, I mean, I think I'm very sensitive, as most people are. So like, I find myself looking for them almost. You know, as in like you scroll down and you're like, which is so bad because there's so many beautiful things and people saying nice things, and then you're looking for that one person. It's like, yet I don't respond to them. No, and I don't want to give them more power than they already have over me. As in like me trying to find them. I just never understood. Like I don't think I've ever left a bad comment. Have you? Like why?
No, why?
I mean, it's one thing to think it. I mean, everybody has the right, but then to go on someone else's platform and say that, obviously in a way that other people can see it. I should say I'm very lucky because I don't have a lot of them. Maybe like in the beginning of the show we had a lot, but then social media was newer too. And I think that we were more polarizing maybe when the audience didn't know us like they know us now, and maybe the kids have softened us all. But in the beginning there was a lot more. Now there's like 2 for 1 per post.
Right, yeah. All right, do or don't give in to temper tantrums.
What is the giving in mean? Like as in like fighting them over it, or just giving in as like saying yes to what they want?
Exactly, saying yes to what they want.
I am a little soft there. Derek is much more, he's better. He's much more strict. I think we have a really good combo, which I think is important as parents. I'm definitely the more, you know, forgiving and a little bit more loving in that sense. And he's a little more like, thank God he can take that role because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, totally. Do or
They're
don't.
too cute. They're like,
They are too cute.
they know how to get me. They're like, nah.
All right, do or don't PDA in front of the kids.
Yes, it's super important for them to know. Like, I mean, I got this advice once from Stacy, my friend, and she said, like, you have to tell them that you, and in my case, Derek, are more important than them in a way, like our relationship, because they will form their future relationship based on, I mean, it's not really what you say, it's how you act. They pick a lot of things up, so I think it's not about like being like overly graphic in any way, just showing sense of love and safety at home. I think it's really important. Yeah.
Do or don't screen time.
We do. I never let them watch it alone. I'm always there with them, and I like, even if I show them movies that are for a little older kids, sometimes I tell them what's going on. I think it's also a really good way of learning language, of like talking about emotions and what I see on the screen, how I interpret the movie or the TV show, and they really like that.
Do or don't matching family outfits?
No.
Not
No,
for you.
we're all very different. The four of us are so different, and then with our big dog, we are, yeah, it's all very different.
Do or don't make your kids a social media account?
No, they're 3.
Do or don't.
When they turn like 10, maybe 12, I don't know what the age. I haven't even, oh my God, that's so scary to think that me and my friend are gonna be 10.
Right, I know. Do or don't co-sleeping?
Oh, you know, it's something that we just started to do and a little bit, and it's been so amazing. And I feel like because we have twins, I don't know if any twin parents are watching this that can understand. It's hard with twins because when they're so small, you have to put them on a schedule, and you can't, like in theory, actually sleep with both of them because if one wakes up, you know, it's harder. It's not the same thing. So we've been very strict with them, and they love their cribs, and they are actually still in the cribs, believe it or not. And it's just worked for us. But now lately we've started doing a little bit, yes, and it's lovely. It's so, and a friend of mine told me, like, why even have kids if you don't sleep with them? That's the best thing about having kids.
Flying above. 100%.
It's like cheating.
Yeah, and there's actually some creative dynamics or rules almost. It's like a birthing process, you know, that's creativity. I mean, we are all being born. Our own first act of creativity, our experience of birth, is a struggle of life and death. So there's something built into the creative process that is both exhilarating and exciting and life-giving, as well as extremely fear-inducing and threatening. And we could go deeper into that field. The German poet Rilke used to say that our greatest treasures are guarded by our deepest fears. So by having the courage to go after our deepest treasures, our full creative expression, it also involves the courage to face our deepest fears, to face our demons. And that is usually something that people try to avoid. And that's why so people give up on their creative journey. And it takes usually a brave soul that is so driven by their mission, by their gifts they want to share with the world, that we go through these areas of hardship. And our viewers who are going to go on their creative journey, they will have their own smaller version. And I think it's really wonderful to hear from you that it's worth to go also through the valleys, and at the other end that there is, you know, a full expression.
The big difference is when you're young, as a writer anyway, the paper is not white. You see a structure, you think that you write. Novels are supposed to be written in a certain way, stories are supposed to be told in a certain way, so the paper already has a structure that you're trying to fill. You're trying to trace the contour. With age, the paper has become more and more white. I have more and more respect for the whiteness of the paper.
Beautiful.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Do you feel the same?
So, Fred, I wanted to ask you, you're a very creative person, obviously, with a huge following. You do amazing work in the world. The question I wanted to ask you, and you spoke about that white blank canvas, and we speak about the field of infinite possibilities that life presents to us if we are open to it. I would love to hear from you, how do you envision yourself? Let's say if time and money were not restrictions, how would you envision yourself, you know, fully expressed in your own creativity in, let's say, about 5 years? What do you dream of in your own creative path?
Well, I think when I was young, and still to some extent, creativity to me was to maybe impress the world around me, or create or put out a creativity that would be admired or appreciated, at least in some capacity. For me at that time, creativity, to be creative, you have to be admired. Now later in life, hopefully 5 years, when especially time is, I haven't had the time. I think for me it's more in here.
very easy to write.
Yes, but I think it's a to me, writing and making movies or being on television or painting, those are all creative juices, but you can't, in my life, you can't compare them at all to some of the things that I feel or create on the inside. So I have a constant dialogue with myself or the universe or the creator, whatever you want to call it, in the meditation. And then because I do it so much, sometimes twice a day, it goes on. You just change. So that's my answer. If I had unlimited money and unlimited time, and I was the highest creating force I could ever be, I'd probably sit on a park bench and with my eyes closed, or maybe like this here. We meet here in 5 years, naked.
Is there some kind of a project or an idea that you wish to birth, or maybe as a gift to the world? Something how you would see yourself fully expressed beside sitting on a park bench, being at peace?
I mean, I've always dreamt of a very large family, which is so nice now. My brother lives here with all the kids, but I think that's much later than 5 years. The ultimate creative power would be done to, I always had this vision of myself being like white hair and very tanned leather skin, old, with a big sun hat under an apple tree, and see all the kids running around, all the grandkids, like, and all the dogs in the family, and maybe we can find a chair for you too. And everyone,
I'll join you.
Everyone is together, and that would be the ultimate creative.
Yeah, is that us recreating something that we never got? We never had that big family thing when we were kids.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you because I've always looked forward to the same thing. Sort of me at the short end of the table, and then kids and grandkids, and a big family.
Beautiful. So let's just work with that. It's a beautiful image. I think that I can relate to. I imagine that a lot of people can imagine, you know, to sit around under an apple tree or on a long table, like an Italian setting, beautiful food, and 3 generations of children, you know, family life, and a sense of wholeness and community, right? And usually we postpone that into the future as something like once I'm retired, once I'm there. So the number one, like a few creative principles that I want to share with you, basically how you can create that scenario right now, right here. So number one is the biggest mistake that most people do when they want to create something is the simple question is, how do I get there? And the simple question of asking how immediately puts us subconsciously into a state where we're telling ourselves that we don't know, that we don't already have the answers by asking how. You know, and then we go outside of ourselves, we research experts, we ask other people who have found their path, and then we lean out of our own center. You know, we're telling ourselves that I don't have the answers. Act of asking how already puts us out of our own power.
Interesting.
And a more powerful, a more creative approach is to embrace the reality that who we truly are, and this is backed by quantum physics and new studies about the nature of time, that the understanding of linear time is just a concept. It helps us to navigate through this 3-dimensional world. But through meditation and through also quantum physics, we can connect to a state where linear time collapses, where the past, the present, and the future already is here. The future already exists as a potential right here, right now.
Actually, sometimes.
And the very, let me just finish that thought, sorry. And the very scenario that we just described, to sit under this apple tree, is already here as a potential. Obviously, it hasn't manifested in 3D reality, but it's already here. And powerful visionaries and creators have found this ability to already put themselves into that state and to feel literally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, what it's like to be that person. Because the universe doesn't respond to what we want, but who we are. You know, the kind of frequency, the kind of radio waves that we are emanating are being brought back to us. You know, that's the world that surrounds us, our own echo.
I love that idea because, you know, sometimes when I've been on the bus or the subway, I have a meditation, we call it practice that I do for myself. I look at everyone in the van, and I think to myself that I have been
Beautiful, beautiful. I think what you're describing is the sense that in our expanded sense of self, where we go beyond our own limited story, in the expanded self, we can actually see ourselves in everyone, you know, in the old and the young. And there's a seed of us in everyone, which then creates compassion. And Thich Nhat Hanh speaks about a state of interbeing, you know, where we feel compassion, a connection with everyone, and also derive information and inspiration from everyone outside of ourselves. So maybe just a mini practice I want to share with you right now, and also for our audience, to stay with this beautiful image of the 3-generational gathering under an apple tree. Let's just close our eyes for a moment, and I imagine to just place yourself under that apple tree. And our audience, I invite you to just come along, to take a seat on this large table. Just imagine the comfort,
white cloth,
white cloths.
Rosé wine, laughter, very tanned, big sun hats.